الله الرحمن الرحيم أن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Before we begin, Ikhwani, we just want to remind you brothers who can help it, if you want those rewards from the Sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his companions and these types of assemblies, you get yourself a lot of rewards if you just do the simple, easy thing. The Nabi saw his companions divided like we're divided, and he asked them, Mali arakum izin inna tafarruqukum fi hadhihi ash-shi'ab al-awdiya inna dhalika min ash-shaytan. He told them when they were divided that their division like this was from the shaitan. The narrator of the hadith said after that, when he told us that kalam, every time we came together in the masjid or other than the masjid, we would all come together. The benefit of that hadith and that sunnah is that it helps to cultivate brotherhood between the Muslims. It helps to cultivate, inshallah ta'ala, tolerance between ourselves. So I want to ask those brothers, people of the sunnah, the sunnah, inshallah, come get yourself some rewards and let us stick to the adab of the assembly. If you brothers in the back can move forward and tadammu ila ikhwanikum. Concerning this issue that the brothers have assigned to me, a lot can be said. At the top of the list, I want to make it perfectly clear that I'm not here to bash anybody. That's not my style, and I don't believe it. I say what I mean, I say what I mean. What I mean and what I believe, I'm going to say it how it is. But it is not my goal and my objective to bash people. I never saw a hadith, I never saw an incident of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam where it appeared his niyat, his goal, his objective was he wanted the destruction of people. He wanted to overpower them and put his side across at the expense of making people look little and make people look small. But in presenting this presentation, I have to make it perfectly clear that the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was ستفترق هذه الأمة على 73 فرقة كلها في النار. I see the people of a tasawwuf, the way it is today and the way it became, as being one of those 72 different divergent sects and paths that are rejected by al-Islam. So we have a religious responsibility to try to explain the truth in a lucid, clear and concise manner. So as I mentioned, a lot can be said about the Sufis. One thing that I would say, out of all of the groups that find themselves connecting themselves to al-Islam and the Muslims, I deem the Sufis as probably the most dangerous. Probably the most dangerous. We have the danger of the takfiri people, the Khawarij, dangerous. But their danger really started facing us today. We have the danger of the other political groups who we're waiting to see what they're going to do after they've gotten the kursi in the country. We're going to see what they're going to do. But Sufis and a tasawwuf is dangerous on the ummah. And anyone who's traveled throughout Africa, you traveled throughout the Arab world, you traveled where Sufism is steeped in the minds and the hearts of the Muslims, you'll find that the people who colonized Muslims benefited from the aqeedah and the presence of the Sufis. The things that they believe, their tasawwur about al-Islam, what they call the religion, is as if Allah Ta'ala did not give them uqul. The other issue that we want to bring in this introduction is that in terms of this issue, the tasmiyah of Sufis, as Sufi, Tasawwuf, this is a word that ironically you're not going to find in the Quran, you're not going to find in the authentic sunnah of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you're not going to find anything that points to it as being a correct statement. I've come across a number of Sufis who, in talking to them, they reject the Salafiyah. And when I say a Salafiyah, I'm not talking about a group of people called Salafis, that you have to be a part of Green Lane, or you have to be a part of Hardtop, or you have to be a part of some other group of Muslims who call themselves Salafis. I'm talking about the concept and the theory of understanding and practicing the Quran and the Sunnah the way those companions understood it. So the point here is, I met a number of Sufis who said that the tasmi and the naming as-Salafiyya is a bid'ah. When in fact the Quran, there are ayat that prove this concept of a Salafiyya, and there are ahadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that prove this concept and the idea of a Salafiyya. And what was collected by the Imam Muslim, the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to his daughter Fatima az-Zahra, Hasan radiyallahu anhum wa ardahum, ni'ma salafi ana laki. He said, I'm a good salaf, I'm a good predecessor for you. That word, scholars use that word from that hadith to prove the concept, along with other ayat and adillah. And what was reported in the Musnad of Imam Ahmed, it is said that the Nabi said to his other daughter, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ruqayya, when she died, ilhaqi bi salafina as-salih, Uthman ibn Maz'un. When she died, it was reported that he said, catch up to and go meet our righteous predecessor, my companion Uthman ibn Maz'un. So there are ayat and ahadith that support the tasmi and the name of Salafiyya, along with what the ulama of the past said, past and present. Whereas when it comes to the word Sufi, no dalil from the kitab, no dalil from the sunnah, and they themselves are in ikhtilaf as to where the name comes from. So I think it's from benefit in getting to know them that the Sufis, some of them say that the word Sufi comes from as-Saf al-Awwal, as-Saf al-Awwal. And that's incorrect because, and this shows the importance of the Arabic language, there is a branch of the Arabic language called as-Sarf, how the word is changed around. The word sajida, you get from it masjid, you get from it sajid, you get from it sujood, you get from it so many ishtiqaqat from the word. It's called as-Sarf, how you change the word around. If the word as-Saf, the word for that is Safi and not Sufi. So only a few people who don't know the language will stick to that. Some of them said that the word Sufi also comes from the Sufa. And the Sufa were a group of people in the times of the Jahiliyyah. They were the family of a man by the name of Al-Ghawth ibn Marr. This man in Jahiliyyah, Al-Ghawth ibn Marr, he used to take care of the Kaaba, him and his children after him. So they said, in our display of our love for Allah, we're going to call ourselves Sufi. And again, it doesn't work with this word. Sufa, the word wouldn't be Sufi ever. It wouldn't be that. And another thing is, many Sufi people don't accept that because they're not happy with practicing something that people in Jahiliyyah practice and naming it with themselves. And in addition to that, if this was something to be proud about in that type of way, then the companions would have did it, radiyallahu anhum, because they would have known about the issue. Some of the people, Ikhwani, they say that this word Sufi comes from the Ahl Sufa, the people who used to stay in the masjid. So the Sufis, they said, we're going to call ourselves Sufis after these people, and we're going to dedicate our time to worshiping Allah and being close to Allah and having the mujawara of Allah. We're going to be the neighbors of Allah. And again, this is rejected because those people who were from the people of the masjid, Ahlul Sufa, from the time of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were in the masjid not because of i'tikaf, They were in the masjid because they were fuqara, masakeen, muhtajun. And the dalil of that is, after Islam spread, they became rich and they left the masjid. From them were fuqaha, from them were mujahidun. You don't find someone without a job just sitting in the masjid during the time of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From the people who used to live in the masjid, Abdullah ibn Umar. He could have easily gone to live with his father, but Umar wanted him to take care of himself. And he was from the fuqaha of Islam, from the muhaddithin. From them as well were people who were well known for jihad, like Sa'ad ibn Abi Waqqas, one of the 10 people promised Jannah. Abdullah ibn Rawaha, again, when these people, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, when they became leaders over the Muslims and governors, they made money, they left the masjid. So calling yourself Sufi based upon that, getting close to Allah, going to stay in the masjid and leave the dunya and so forth and so on, it is a concept that they came up with that is not sanctioned by Allah Azza wa Jalla. Lastly, the majority of the Sufis, past and present, they say that the word Sufi comes from the word Suf, which could be Sufi, the wool that people used to wear during the summertime and the wintertime. An ibara, or a symbol and a sign of their ibad and their zuhd and their wara. And this was the opinion of Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, as well as the great sociologist in al-Islam, al-Imam ibn Khaldun, rahimahumullahu tabarak wa ta'ala. The important thing is, the name itself is ambiguous. The name itself, it is not clear. And usually if you want to know the reality of something, then study the etymology of that thing. Where did the name come from? Any group, any name, where did it come from? And you'll find out a lot about the reality of that particular issue. As-Salafiyya, where does it come from? It comes from the Quran, it comes from the Sunnah. The idea, the concept, the usage of the word extends all the way to the time of the Tabi'een. It came out of the mouth of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So based upon al-istinbat, extrapolation, scholars came up with this phrase, and it is a synonym with Ahlul Hadith, Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, Al-Firqat al-Najiyah, and other than that. Concerning the issue of the Sufis, I want to make this issue clear, Khwani, because I think it's important to always be fair, just, and balanced. The Nabi told the people sallallahu alaihi wasallam, thalatha min al-muhlikat. 3 things will destroy you, and 3 things will save you. The first thing that he said will save you was al-adlu fi rada wal ghadab, being fair and just when you're happy and when you're angry. This brother right here is my friend and my brother. It's easy for me to be fair and just because he's my friend and my brother. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll give him excuses and so forth and so on. Because he's my friend and my brother. That's easy. He's my relative. That's easy. But this brother right here, he's my enemy. I don't see eye to eye with him. It's hard for me to be fair and just with this guy. The Nabi said, thalatha min al-muhlikat wa thalatha min al-munjiyat. 3 things will destroy you, 3 things will save you. One of the things that will save you in this dunya and from this dunya is being fair and just for your friend and your enemy. So we have to be fair and just. Have to be fair and just. Sufism, as some people try to project it, is acceptable, and it is a part of Islam of the past and now. But we have to take that word away because it is a word that has no basis in the deen. The scholars of the past used to call Sufism as zuhd, al-wara. And scholars wrote books about this because it's a part of our religion, as zuhd. The Nabi said in the hadith sallallahu alayhi wasallam, izhad fi dunya yuhibbuk Allah, wazhad fi ma fi aydin nas yuhibbuk an-nas. Have zuhd in the dunya. Don't be abdul dunya, abdul dinar, abdul dirham. Don't be one of those people, worship the dunya by hook or crook. You're going to get your money. Don't be like that. He said if you have zuhd in the dunya, Allah will love you. He said, and if you have zuhd in what people own, the people will love you. You're not an individual who's trying to keep up with the Joneses and you're in the race. You're not always asking people, how much was that? Can I have this? What's that? What? You just mind your own business. People, as a result of that, they'll see you as being khafif, you're light. Not like some of our relatives. Some of our relatives, they think we're in the UK and they actually think that in our backyards, on the trees, there are pounds and gold coming off the tree. So they always call and saying, send money, send money, send money. So you don't answer the phone when you see their number because they're not light, they're heavy. So the Nabi told the people, and this is the point, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, have zuhd in the dunya. And Allah will love you, and have zuhd concerning what the people possess, and the people will love you. So a zuhd is in our religion. Why we have to call it Sufism? Al-Imam Ahmed wrote a book called Kitab al-Zuhd. The Amir al-Mu'mineen in Hadith, Abdullah ibn Mubarak, he has a book called Kitab al-Zuhd. Amir al-Mu'mineen in Hadith, another scholar, Amir al-Mu'mineen in Hadith, his name is Waqi' ibn al-Jarrah. He has a book, Kitab al-Zuhd. So those scholars used to write those books. Al-Imam Abu Bakr ibn Abi Dunya, he wrote books in all of these things connected to zuhd. Watching your tongue, having ikhlas, not eating a lot, not sleeping a lot. And Al-Imam al-Tirmidhi's book of Al-Hadith, and there is a chapter, Kitab al-Zuhd. Al-Imam Ibn Majah in his book of Hadith, and there is a chapter, Kitab al-Zuhd. So the ulama of the past, they used to be on a zuhd. This Sufism, avoiding the dunya and not going overboard in the dunya, this is a concept that's supported by the Kitab and the Sunnah. But it has a correct naming and a correct understanding. The correct name is az-zuhd or al-wara, to be aware. Like the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam was hungry, he found some dates, he picked them up, he was about to eat the dates, he said they could be from a zakat. And being from Ahl al-Bayt, he can't eat from the zakat. So he left it. That's zuhd. Da'ma yuribuka ila ma la yuribuka. Leave what you doubt for what you don't doubt. Something you want to do, you want to do it, you desire doing that thing. It's going to bring you some immediate benefit. But you have enough deen, no one's looking, but you have enough deen to say, I'm not going to do it because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure is it halal, haram, but if I leave it, I won't be in trouble. But if I do it, I'm taking a chance. May be in trouble, may not be in trouble. They call that al-wara. That's from our religion. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, rahimahullah ta'ala, in giving the correct Salafi definition of az-zuhd, he said az-zuhd is for the slave to leave and to abandon those things that don't benefit him in the hereafter. He's sitting with his friends and they have a bunch of kalam, qila wa qal. It's just wasting time. Az-zuhd is to excuse himself in a nice way to say, okay, I'm getting out of here, I got something else to do that's going to benefit me in the hereafter. And benefit in the hereafter doesn't always mean just ibadah as such. It can be sitting down and having quality time with your mother, your father, your wife, and your children. The point is that the person is always going to think, how is this thing going to benefit me in the hereafter? If it has no benefit, I'm going to abandon it. Shaykh al-Islam said, that's the zuhd that Allah loves and the zuhd that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam came with. As for the zuhd of the Sufis of the past, not today. And that's another issue we have to be fair and just about. All Sufis are not the same. Not in the past, they were not the same. Some of them were kuffar because of what they believed. And some of them were righteous, religious people who the ulama of al-hadith, the nuqad of hadith, used to describe the person as a rajul salih. And he had Sufism in him. He had a zuhd. So the Sufis of the past, many of them, they abstained from the dunya. They didn't eat a lot. They didn't talk a lot. Sufis in the past used to break qiyamul layl and they used to fast and do other things. Today, the Sufi, more times than not, is just an individual who he's taken that way, but he's not on that ibadah of the people of the past. You may find some, but generally that's not the case. He's a Sufi to be different from the other people in many instances. Allah Ta'ala has rejected the understanding that the Sufis brought to the table back then. The understanding of making things halal that Allah made haram, making things haram that Allah made halal, especially. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in a number of ayat of the Quran, Ya Bani Adam, خذوا زينتكم عند كل مسجد وكلوا واشربوا ولا تسرفوا إنه لا يحب المسرفين. Ya Bani Adam, wear your beautiful clothes, take your beautiful apparel. When you go to the masjid, dress in a nice way. Allah commanded that in the Quran, meaning cover up your awrah and don't pray and go around the Kaaba anymore naked. But the ayah said, wear your beautiful apparel and eat and drink and don't waste. Verily, Allah does not love those who waste. But Allah commanded in that ayah, and He allowed in that ayah for people to wear nice things. One man came and he heard the Nabi say, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. The man will not go into the Jannah who has one dot of kibr in his heart. He won't go to Jannah. Jannah is haram for him. Only Allah is mutakabbir. From His names as He is al-mutakabbir. And no one can compete with Him in that. A companion said, Ya Rasulullah, inni uhibbu an yakuna thawbi hasana wa na'li hasana. I want my clothes to be nice. I want a thobe nobody else has, a color no one else has. I put my initials on my thobe right here. I want a thobe and I want shoes to be nice. I don't want, in another narration, the man said, I don't want anyone to compete with me in my shoes. Mus'ab ibn Umair, the companion of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, used to wear perfume from Persia, perfume from Rome. If he walked down the street and you came after him, you knew he was on the scene. He used to wear expensive clothes as a Muslim, radiyallahu anhu, in the beginning of his Islam. So that man wants to know, if I like nice clothes, a nice car, nice house, so forth, is that kibr? The Nabi told him sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inna Allah jameel wa yuhibbul jamal. No, Allah is beautiful and Allah loves beauty. A nice car is okay, all of these things are okay. Kibr is something else. Kibr is rejecting the truth and looking down upon people. So the shahid of the kalam is that Allah allowed people to enjoy the beautiful things that He has created for them. Men, Allah said in the Quran, قُلْ مَنْ حَرَّمَ زِينَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي أَخْرَجَ لِعِبَادِهِ وَالطَّيِّبَاتِ مِنَ الرِّزْقِ قُلْ هِيَ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا خَالِصَةً يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Say to them, Ya Muhammad, Sufis and other than that, Quraysh, say to the people, who has the audacity to make haram the good things that Allah made halal for His servants? These good things, they are for all of the people. They're for His servants, for the Muslims, everybody. But Yawm al-Qiyamah, they'll only be for those who believe. So the point here is, the ayat, the ahadith, they go to show it is not zuhd to abandon things of the dunya that are going to benefit you. The Nabi told the people sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inna Allah yuhibbu an yara athara ni'matihi ala abdihi. Allah loves to see the effect and the impact of the ni'mah that He gave you. Allah gave you money, He wants to see you in nice clothes. He gave you money, He doesn't want you to make haram, but you have to be balanced. The point here is ayat after ayat, ahadith after ahadith, that show it's not permissible for people to come in an attempt to get to the dunya. You make haram what Allah Ta'ala has made halal with the claim that this is zuhd. That's not what the Nabi brought, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam. Another issue is the issue of lack of al-ittikhad bil asbab, a tawakkul on Allah that's not correct. A person believing that he relies on Allah. And relying on Allah means he doesn't go to school and get educated. He doesn't tie his camel. He drives at a high speed and he say, I'm mutawakkil ala Allah. That's how those people used to believe in the past. And that's against the religion, because the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to take precautions. And he was commanded by Allah Azza wa Jal in ayat upon ayat of the Quran, take precautions. وَأَعِدُّوا مَسْتَطَعْتُمْ من قوة ومن رباط الخير ترهبون به عدو الله وعدوكم. Make all necessary precautions. Take all necessary precautions and get yourselves ready so that you can strike fear in the hearts of those people who are the enemies of Allah and your enemies as well. Take precautions. So the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make the salat of al-khawf half of the people would pray 1 rak'ah, and the other half will hold their weapons. After the 1 rak'ah, they hold their weapons and they alternate, and then those people, they make the salah and they held their weapons. The Nabi didn't say, Allahu Ta'ala is al-Hafidh, and Allah revealed to me that I have to make it to Medina in the Hijrah. And I know that nothing's going to happen. He never did that. He taught the people, no, you have to take precautions. So the point here is, az-zuhd. This is a concept that is from the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we support it. And just because someone may hijack that concept and utilize it in the wrong way, doesn't mean we have to be against it. Now I want to draw your attention to another issue similar to that. It's off of the point, but it's connected to this point. Sufis throw caution to the wind in the past. They make the tayyibat haram. So if someone comes and he wants to be zahid, someone comes and he wants to pray a lot, someone comes and after the salah he goes through all of the adhkar, and we say to him, don't be Sufi. No, that's not acceptable. That man is being on the sunnah. He's on the sunnah. It's similar to us saying Al-Qaeda, Al-Shabaab of Somalia, people who have this kind of understanding of Al-Islam. We're against that. Islam doesn't support that. But at the same time, if a person used the word jihad and he talked about jihad in the right way, we're not going to say he's takfiri, he's jihadi because he used that word, or because he had izzah about being a Muslim and wanted to defend himself in Islam and wanting to see the dominance of al-Islam. So we have to be balanced in this regard. Zuhd is from the deen of Allah, al-wara' is from the deen of Allah, and it's from the best aspects of a person's religion. Now, in regard to the issue of some of the i'tiqad of the Sufi, and there's a lot. They believe in a lot of, I'm telling you, things that the human being, when he believes in these things, usually he's not educated, can't read and write. Because a person who has intellect would never believe in these things, even if he only read the Quran once, or he read the Quran half. He never read all of the Quran. But some of what they're saying, it just goes against the fitrah and it goes against common sense. Like I mentioned to you, making haram the good things and not having money. Not having money. The companion Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas, one of the 10 people promised Jannah, he thought he was going to die. The Nabi came to visit him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I want to give all of my money fi sabilillah. He said no. He said, I want to give half of my money. He said no. He said, I want to give a third of my money fi sabilillah. Man thought he was going to die. The Prophet told him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, naam wa thuluth kathir, give a third, and a third is a lot. And then he told him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, liyan tatruk warathataka aghniya khayru min an tatrukuhum yatakaffafun an-nas. For one of you to leave your children behind, those who inherit from you, to leave them with money is better than to leave them where they have to go and ask the people, fi sabilillah, fi sabilillah. The Nabi didn't let him give away all of his money. Another companion, everybody knows Ka'b ibn Malik, the one who the Nabi boycotted for 50 days, 50, because he didn't go and he make the jihad. When Allah Ta'ala accepted his tawbah, Ka'b came to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, Ya Rasulullah, I want to give sadaqah, all of my money, because Allah, he gave me tawbah. The Nabi told him sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam, amsik ba'da malik, innahu khayrun laka. Keep some of your money. Okay, you want to make tawbah? From the sunnah is you can give sadaqah when you're making tawbah. He said, but keep some of your money because it is better for you. So the Nabi, being the Shaykh sallallahu alaihi wasallam, unlike the Sufi Shaykh, he didn't take advantage of the man. The man was sincere. The so-called murid, he's sincere, and the man is going to take his money. And the one without education and the one without intellect, he is the one who allows him to take his money. A man works hard for his money, and then the Malvi Saab, the Imam, the Shaykh is going to tell you, give me half of your money or this or that, and you give it to him? What's wrong with your intellect? The companions were not like that. They didn't let people make istighlal of them like that, take advantage of them. From the i'tiqad of the Sufis are a lot of things, Ikhwani. I'm not going to get into them deeply, just mention them very quickly. From them is what they believe about the awliya. And the awliya, they're the people who they make awliya. I say that he's a wali, I say that I'm a wali myself. And many times, the shuyukh of the Sufis who are awliya and considered awliya, some of them don't pray. Some of them drink khamr. Some of them fall into different issues that go against the deen. So the awliya is not established based upon what you want or what I want and what people want. It's established by different characteristics that they have. As Allah mentioned many ayat in the Quran, Ala inna awliya alladhina amanu wa yattaqoon. The awliya, the people who have the correct iman and they have taqwa, they worship Allah correctly. They don't say those crazy things and believe those crazy things. Another issue that's a big problem is this thing of a talaqqi. The word talaqqi, it means to take knowledge from someone. Like right now, you're sitting and you're making a talaqqi. You're sitting in the class and you learn the Quran and you learn the dars and you hear from someone and you take from them. That's called a talaqqi. The Sufis, from what they believe, is that the shuyukh and even some of the regular people from amongst them, they can take directly from the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wasallam. That the Nabi comes to some of them and he gives them a hadith. So if they use a hadith that's weak or something and you said the hadith is weak, he'll say the Nabi came and gave me that hadith and you're telling me that it's weak. Some go even further than that and they say that they take directly from Allah Azza wa Jal. This is a common practice with all of the famous Turq of the Sufis, all of them without any exception, that they believe that the Sheikh of the Tariqah has the ability to take and make a talaqqi from Allah directly. And when the people of Al-Hadith and Al-Baghdad started refuting the Sufis during the time of Al-Imam Ahmed, and you have to get this, you have to understand this, some of the ulama of the past were called Sufis, like Al-Imam Al-Shafi'i. There's a man, an author, Abu Nu'aym Al-Asbahani. He wrote the book Hilyat al-Awliya. He's a scholar of hadith. He said that Al-Imam al-Shafi was a Sufi. So a person who's a Sufi comes and he shows us that. We say, listen, even if Al-Imam al-Shafi was a Sufi, we don't accept that. Just because he was a Sufi, we don't accept that. But our husn al-dhan about Al-Imam al-Shafi is that he wasn't Sufi. And we found many of those statements of his when he said, a person who becomes a Sufi in the morning, he becomes ahmaq by dhuhr time. He becomes like very ignorant, like an imbecile by dhuhr time, and he used to refute them. So the point here is, when you read Sufi and these words, Al-Imam Ahmed and those people in the past, they used to make inkar on the singing and the dancing that they used to do. The singing and the dancing that they used to do. So the people were upset with Ahlul Hadith at that time, and they used to say, until when are you going to say Haddathani? The scholars of Hadith, they'll teach the Hadith, and they'll say, so-and-so told me, that so-and-so told me, that so-and-so told me, that Abu Hurairah said, that the Nabi said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So those people used to say, how long are you going to say Haddathani? Someone told you. They say, as for us, Allah told us directly. This could be kufr. But we don't make takfir on people because a lot of times people are ignorant. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in his book, وَمَنْ أَظْلَمُ مِمَّنْ افترى عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا أو قال أوحي إلي ولم يوحى إليه شيء ومن قال سأنزل مثل ما أنزل الله ولو ترى إذ الظالمون في غمرات الموت والملائكة باسطوا أيديهم أخرجوا أنفسكم اليوم تجزون عذاب الهون بما كنتم تقولون على الله غير الحق وكنتم عن آياتي تستكبرون. Who is more oppressive and who is a bigger liar than the one who says revelation comes to me directly? Allah reveals to me and nothing was revealed to him. Or the one who says I'm going to reveal something similar to what Allah revealed. Who's more oppressive than that individual? Allah Ta'ala mentioned in that ayat, if you only saw the criminals who make these claims on the day when they are in the throes of death, and the malaika stretch forth their hands to say to them, bring forth your souls, because today you're going to taste a grievous punishment because of what you used to do by lying on Allah. You used to take directly from Allah. You used to take directly from the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam in 1433 years after the Nabi. That's kadhib. Lying on the Nabi is not like lying on other people. Even in the dream, Abdullah, you can't even say in the dream, I saw the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and you're lying. In the dream. It's a kabira from the kaba'ir. Imam al-Thahabi put that in Kitab al-Kaba'ir. You want to get something from someone or make them do something positive. You say, the Nabi came to me in a dream and he said, you two should stop fighting. That is a kabira from the kaba'ir. Not to mention just saying that he comes to you and he gives you different things that he revealed to you. So the point here is, that's from their i'tiqad. In addition to that, Sufis go overboard with the wali of Allah, Khidr. Salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. Some of them believe that Khidr to this very moment is still living. Although Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the book Al-Aziz Al-Hamid, he said, وَمَا جَعَلْنَا لِبَشَرٍ مِّن قَبْلِكَ الْخُلْدِ أَفَإِن مِتَّ هُمُ الْخَالِدُونَ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِقَةُ الْمَوْتِ. We never gave any human being before you, Ya Muhammad, we never gave him perpetual life. So if these people, if you were to die, do they think they're going to live forever? Every soul will taste death. So the people in their dhikr, which another thing that they have from their beliefs and practices, is the special dhikrs that they have, in which they sing, they dance, they play drums, they sing songs that are impermissible, and they go overboard. And in those dhikrs, they actually believe that Khidr, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, actually came again. If anyone knew that Khidr was still around, it would have been al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who on the day of Badr, when the companions went to sleep, and tomorrow they're going to meet the enemy, and the sakina came over them and they fell asleep, and the Nabi was praying, and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq was watching him. And after the salat, the Nabi raised his arms and his cloak fell off. Abu Bakr said, I could see the whiteness under his arms. And he made a dua and he said to Allah Ta'ala to help these group of people, because if these group of people are destroyed when they meet Quraysh, if they lose and they die, he said Allah won't be worshipped on the face of the earth. You won't be worshipped on the face of the earth. If Khidr was still around somewhere during that time, Khidr was here during the time of Musa, and he's still there, according to them, during the time of the companions. He's still here now. Why would the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wa ala alihi wasallam make a false claim like that? If these Muslims are destroyed, Ya Allah, Khidr is still somewhere and he is going to be helping me. And Allah Ta'ala took a covenant from all of the Anbiya of the past that they had to help the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Also, ikhwani, from the beliefs of many of these people is this issue of al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. Al-Mi'raj. And I'm not talking about the Mi'raj of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm talking about the Mi'raj of some of their awliya. They said if the Nabi can make a Mi'raj to the Sama, then they can make a Mi'raj. From the famous Sufi personalities who claim this, a man by the name of Abu Yazid al-Bustami, who has some good. They said, and he used to say, he goes up at night and he meets Allah, and he has a khalwa with Allah. Ibn Arabi, not Ibn al-Arabi. Ibn al-Arabi is a Maliki scholar, mufassir of the Quran, a faqih from the fuqaha, a man of the Salaf. Ibn Arabi, not Ibn Arabi. Many of the ulama of hadith said that that man was a kafir billah because of what he used to say. And from what he used to say, he goes up to the seven heavens and he sits on the throne and he talks to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And then the person believes that. With which aql can someone allow himself to believe something like that? From what they believe, and there are a lot of issues. One of the speakers is going to get into all of this. from what they believe, Ikhwani, is this issue of al-kashf. Al-kashf is the ability to find out what's in that man's heart. And I really believe that I know what he's thinking. When I'm with the sheikh, I have haiba. I'm afraid like this. Because I actually believe the sheikh has the ability to know what's in my heart and what I'm thinking. If, as it happened in Africa, the lights in many of the African countries, they don't stay on 24/7. Some neighborhoods, they have lights today and tomorrow is off. If you're sitting and you're giving someone dawah from these people and you're talking about their sheikh and the lights go off, at that moment, he believes that's from the kashf of the sheikh. If something happens at that moment, he sneezes, his ear itches, any of this khurafat that people have, the baby smiled at the moment the sheikh's name was mentioned, they believe that that's the kashf, something, an ability that he has to see into the unseen. Which Muslim in his right mind believes issues like that? And we have the book of Allah. Allah told the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, قُلْ لَا أَمْلِكُ لِنَفْسِي نَفْعًا وَلَا ضَرًّا إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ وَلَوْ كُنْتُ أَعْلَمُ الْغَيْبِ لَاسْتَكْثَرْتُ مِنَ الْخَيْرِ وَمَا مَسَّنِي السُّوءُ. Tell them, Ya Muhammad, I don't have the ability to benefit myself, to harm myself. And if I knew the unseen, no evil would have ever touched me. I would have protected my uncle Hamza. I would have protected my companions who were killed. I would have stopped these people from saying these things about my wife, Aisha, and other than that. But he doesn't have knowledge of the unseen, him or the Anbiya. So how is it that some regular person? I only have a few minutes, Ikhwani. That's some just touching the iceberg of some of what these people believe in, but what we were quiet about is much more and much more severe, or just as severe. And in each one of the issues that I mentioned, if you go deep to study what they actually believe, some of the stuff is clear kufr. If it wasn't for the fact that people were ignorant, you would have to judge them with the rule of being excommunicated from al-Islam. Excommunicated from al-Islam. The dhikr that they have and what they do and what they say, shirk billah. As for some of the Sufi tariqas, then there are many. From the tariqas is what we have prevalent in Africa. We have a number of young brothers from Gambia in Birmingham. And I came from Bradford or Bedford today, by Lulton. Gambian people are coming to the Sunnah and leaving the tariqa of Tijaniyah. That was named after the man Ahmed Tijani. And this man says that if you make the dua that they have is called Al-Fatih. If you read this dua, you don't have to read the Quran, because this dua is 6,000 times better than the Quran. Anyone from amongst them, no matter what he does, homosexuality, murder, drink khamr, no matter what he does, they believe that they're in Jannah. All they have to do is go to the sheikh at that time, and they have one here in Birmingham. All they have to do is go to the sheikh at that time, who's living during their time. Sheikh makes dua, and Ahmed Tijani has a special position. All of his followers go to Jannah. So don't pray, don't wear hijab, don't learn the deen, make innovation, do everything, because you're maghfurun laka, you're going to be forgiven. Also from them is the group called Al-Rafa'iyah. They're famous out in the Sham. Al-Rafa'iyah, Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah used to debate these people. They followed the man from Syria by the name of Ahmed ibn Muhammad al-Rafa'i. Shaykh al-Islam totally, absolutely decimated their arguments. And he was the one who used to say, if I believe what you people are believing, I would be a kafir, because he knows his religion. But he wouldn't pronounce kufr on those people. Not even on their ulama, because they were just ignorant people. So that's one of the famous group. Another famous group is the Naqshbandiyah. We have them here, a Naqshbandiyah. And their leader is still living. And although he's old, the man, if you go to the YouTube, Nazam, you go to the YouTube, the man is swearing and cursing and using foul language because something is wrong with him. Wallahu alam. And the people make excuses for him, and they say that that's revelation from Allah. It's that we don't understand what he's saying, but the malaika understand. The man says terrible curse words. It's on the YouTube. And then they say, look, it sounds like that to you, but the reality, That's revelation what they're saying. And they used to do this a long time ago. If the sheikh commits zina and you see him committing zina, from their famous stories and examples, if he commits zina, he'll say, no, that wasn't a real lady, that was a boat. And the boat had a hole in it. And I had to fill in the hole to keep it from sinking because they were believers in the boat. And the people say, Allah, Allah. But the person with iman and aql is going to say, A'udhu billahi, A'udhu billahi. From those groups is the Shadhaliya, from those groups are the Burhaniya, and other than that. Ikhwani, before I end, inshallah, there is a silatun, wathiqatun, bayna ahl al-tashayyu' wa ahl al-tasawwuf. There are some very strong similarities between the Shiite and between the Sufis. The Shiite are a dangerous group on al-Islam, but not as dangerous as the Sufis. Because every Muslim knows cursing the companions is crazy. Every Muslim knows that the companions are the awliya of Allah. Every Muslim knows that. But every Muslim doesn't know. He can get tricked by some of the claims of the Shiite, of the Sufis. One of the characteristics that are similar is that the Shiite and the Sufis, they claim a special knowledge. That there's an ulum that's khasa. The sheikh and the awliya have special knowledge. Knowledge that's only for them, and knowledge that's for the regular people. So anything they say and do, they can always explain it away. It's esoteric. It really didn't mean that. The Shiites have that same thing. Number two, they make the taqdees of the ashkhas and the mashahid, the taqdees of people. Ayatullah al-Khomeini, he's the ayat of Allah. The Shiite the same way. The dead man, the sheikh, I saw with my own eyes by the Lord of the Kaaba in Sudan. The sheikh from the Burhani madhab came and he took a shower in the neighbor's house, and the shower is just one of those old showers where the ground inside is dirty. It's not like our shower and our toilets. Like in Mirpur, those kind of showers where it's just a cinder block and you take a shower and it just rolls out of the pipe. They used to stand outside and get the dirty water and drink the water. The water was dirty from the ground. The water is dirty from many people taking showers. The water is dirty. And you know, little kids, they urinate in the shower. All kind of things going on in the shower. But they used to take it and drink it. Why? Because the sheikh, if he came here and he gave a talk and he drank from the water and he left it there, the people come to get barakah. I say, la. A Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan, a Sheikh Abdul Muhsin Abbad, from the main ulama of al-Islam, if they came and drank something, it's not permissible for us to take any of that. And I consider them from the awliya of Allah, and Allah knows best. Ulama, Allahu alam. But it's not permissible for us to take that. As for the Nabi, no problem, we believe in that. The companions used to do that. So the Shiite, they go overboard in personalities. They go overboard in historical places. That's the place where Khadija was born. So they go and they make tawaf around that place. That masjid in the marketplace is called Masjid Bilal. They just called it Masjid Bilal on the way to Quba Street. Masjid Bilal. Because it's Bilal's masjid, they go and they pray and they rub the... La. The Muslim goes to Mecca, he goes to Umrah, he goes to Medina. He doesn't care about those issues. From the similarities between the Shiite and the people of At-Tasawwuf, is that they have a lot of groups. A lot of groups, and Allah Ta'ala only revealed one religion to be followed. As he mentioned in the Quran, for the Prophet to say to the people sallallahu alaihi wasallam, wa an hadha sirati mustaqima fattabi'uhu wa la tattabi'u subul fatafarraqa bikum an sabilihi kullu hizbin bima ladayhim farihun wa la takunu min al-mushrikin min alladhina farraqu dinahum wa kanu shi'a. All of those ayats about being in multiple groups. This is a practice that's not sanctioned by Allah Azza wa Jal. So the Shiite have these issues, Sufis have these issues, And that's because, ikhwani, when something is a dakhil in al-Islam, someone introduces in al-Islam something, is going to resemble the other innovative methods that have been introduced. Whereas the religion of Allah is unique. It stands alone. The Nabi has special qualities and characteristics no one else has. The religion of Islam has special qualities and characteristics no other religion has. The people of the Sunnah have special qualities, characteristics no one else has. But if it's something that's introduced by people, because he's not the creator, he's not all-knowing, it's going to resemble what he copied from other people. Lastly, I have to mention this. Hasha lillah, to come before you brothers based on my own ijtihad, and I put across to you something that I'm trying to get you to believe in or buy into, and it's my ijtihad. La, we are always going to, inshallah, take positions and opinions that we were preceded to by the scholars of al-Islam. And from the scholars of al-Islam who we love, honor, and respect, who refuted this understanding of Sufism from the past, the top of the list, Al-Imam Ahmed, Al-Imam Shafi'i. These people were against this innovation of a Sufism. So I don't know how a person can call himself a person on the Shafi'i madhab. Comes from some country, they're Shafi'i, and he's following Sufism, and Al-Imam Shafi'i was against it. Al-Imam Abu Zura al-Damashqi used to always fight those Sufis of his era. Shaykh al-Islam, Ibn Taymiyyah, Ibn al-Qayyim, Al-Imam Ibn al-Jawzi. For those of you who have that book, tremendous book that he wrote called Talbis Iblis. Talbis Iblis. How Iblis messed around with the people who memorize the Quran. How Iblis messed around with the individual who's not fasting. He's fasting Ramadan, but he doesn't pray. How Iblis messed around with the individual who's rich. He gives categories of people. And he dedicates 6 chapters to how Iblis played around with the heads of the Sufi people, the people of az-Zuhud. How he played around with their heads and he refuted those issues. So I close by saying there's no doubt under the sun, no doubt. Sufism, the way people are practicing it today, yesterday, it's not from the religion of al-Islam. As for az-Zuhd and al-Wara', then Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah was upon that. Ibn al-Qayyim were upon that. Those companions of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, like Ammar ibn Yasir, like Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, used to fast the fast of Dawood, like Abu Dharr radiallahu anhu, who wouldn't keep any money, save any money. These people were from the awliya of Allah, and they were from the zuhad and the dunya, and the dunya was in their hands and it wasn't in their hearts. But that is a salafiyah in the religion, and it's not Sufism. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from us and accept it from you, and bring our brothers who are on that path back to their rushd and back to their uqul. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.